It's lovely to be back in Wales. Wales, as some of you know, was a very special part of my life and still is. I'm currently at Queen's University in Belfast, but spent 23 years in Aberystwyth at the Institute of Grassland and Environmental Research, and then as part of Aberystwyth University before moving to Queen's Belfast in September 16. In Queen's, I head up a research institute in the area of food security, and very briefly that spans three areas. One, the whole area in around environmental aspects of food production. So what we're talking about today is very much a centerpiece within that. Two, it's about the safety, the quality, the integrity of our food system, including, interestingly, a whole area in around food fraud. There's fraud in all foods. And thirdly, the relationships between our food, our health, and our well-being, so food for health. And I conduct all of that work actually within the Faculty of Medicine, Health and Life Sciences. So it's rather interesting doing agriculture and food and water and environmental issues in the Faculty of Medicine. My boss, for example, is a clinical academic. So it's a pleasure to have a few minutes just to say a few words in what is a very critical topic as outlined by the Archbishop in the area of water quality. I'm just going to highlight a few issues and share with you some thoughts that I think cut right across, but I'm going to bring them from what I've been working with and learning as part of groups in Northern Ireland over the last couple of years. As you know, one of the hottest subjects and areas in this is actually in Ireland, and it is to do with Lough Neagh. Lough Neagh, of course, went global as an issue with blue-green algae back in July and August this year, and has done for the last number of years. You know, a really, really big and important topic. Now, a number of points to make. You know, when we're looking at issues to do with water quality, then I've been particularly interested in the group around me in terms of nutrients within water, particularly nitrogen and phosphorus. Those nutrients within water are, for example, the key nutrients then that contribute to what's called eutrophication, and basically creating problems within water quality for us. And within that, it's particularly to do with phosphorus. Now, there's also a very important space in around, well, where do these nutrients actually come from? What's the evidence in around them? So, well, they come from three main sources, and this is what's called source apportionment, where they come from. So, in our hands in Lough Neagh, and I'll be interested to learn what the issues are here, then 62% of phosphorus, for example, is coming from agriculture, 24% from wastewater, and 12% from some septic tanks and private sewage systems, if you like. But the data in around this and the need for better quality data is absolutely critical. I should also point out that this is not a new subject. It's a subject that has been around for many decades. I also just recently have taken up a role as a trustee in Ulster Wildlife, and circulated on our WhatsApp group just a few weeks ago was a press article from 1979, 45 years ago, on exactly this topic, exactly this discussion. And the only thing that was picked out that had changed was actually the source apportionment. So if we went back to the 70s, then it was much lower in terms of the agricultural contribution. It was high. The highest was actually coming from wastewater and from septic tanks and so on. So proportionally, agriculture has increased. Okay, that's what's happened. But this is 50 years. So just to commend Archbishop actually bringing people together to say this needs urgent action and partnership. Just to reinforce the whole area and around data, and I mentioned it to one or two people a moment ago, actually from agriculture, and I have a substantial background in agriculture, of course farming over the years has responded to the need to produce more food. Huge demand for food, not just nationally but globally. And as part of that, governments, industry, society has encouraged actually putting more nutrients within a system. Farmers responded to that. You end up then in these sorts of problems. But equally, farmers are responsible and will deal with this with the correct support to do it. In Northern Ireland, for example, under what's called the Soil Nutrient Health Scheme, every field in Northern Ireland is being benchmarked to understand what its soil nutrient status is, and then advise in terms of what nutrients need to go on, if any, to actually deal with the productivity aspects of grassland, for example. So we need data from fields and from land and so on, not just data to do with areas in and around the water and the water courses themselves. We also need the parallel data and from wastewater and from septic tanks. So pollution is the big issue here. Climate change is also playing a very substantial part in this. And Archbishop referred to the issues in Spain at the end of last week. But equally we have that. We have high amounts of water, and the runoff that is creating into watercourses from all land is a major issue. And in our hands in Ireland, in Lough Neagh, we also have had major issues to do with zebra mussels, which are actually impacting on the natural ecosystem within that loch and its own abilities to be able to deal with things. So I'm going to finish with just a minute on a few actions, if I may. It's probably jump a little bit more into other areas, but I want to say them now. There's four big areas going forward within Northern Ireland around this, which is all underpinned by science. The first is education, improving the knowledge and the skills of all involved to be more responsible and to do better rapidly in this area. It needs investment, it needs incentivization, and it needs innovation to actually feed into driving the whole space and around behavioural change. We all need to be responsible. We all need to change in this area. We also need regulation and evidence-based regulation, and from that we need enforcement then of those regulations to make sure we do what we're supposed to do. So within that, three words: action, resources, and partnership are absolutely critical to underpin the responsibility that we all have to contribute here to go forward from now. Thank you.